Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to solve these 8 questions provided to me by an organization, and I think these are the most frequent questions asked to us developers very frequently. So I have been asked to solve just one of the problems, but I will be solving all 8 of them. So let's start with the first one. Okay, so let's create a class. So the first question is that we have to remove a given value from array list having some string values. So let's create let's have a main method. Okay, so we need a list type string. Let's import. Okay, so we'll fill the values for this list later. Let's first create a method because they have asked us to write a method. So as this method doesn't have to return anything, it just have to remove, so I will be using void as the return type, and let's say remove value from list. So I need two things here. First is we need list of type string, and then I need a value to be deleted, right? So there are two ways to do this. First is that let's say if I iterate okay, let's say I iterate over this list one by one. I equals to 0, I less than list dot size, and I plus plus. So I have to get the index of that element which we have to delete. So what we will do here is we will check list dot get I dot equals value. So if that happens, we will store the index in a variable x equals to y. So now we know which index we have to delete, so then we can just use list dot remove, and here we can put index and it should do the work, right? After removing, we can also check if it actually got deleted or not, right? But this list is going to get changed, not this one. So either we can make this list as a global variable and then read that global variable here and then remove from it, then only we can use another method to display. But right now we don't have to do that, so let's just iterate here and see if the value got deleted or not. So let's say string s and then list, and here we just do sys out and s. So let's fill the list here. So let's say list dot add, let's say a, let's make few copies. So let's change these numbers b, c. Okay, so these are unique numbers, and let's say we are calling our method. so we have to make it static. So remove values. Here we will provide list and value, let's say we are doing s, which is at this index. So let's run this. So as you can see, s is deleted. Also we can check the size. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 elements initially, and after deletion we only have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is one logic. Another logic is that we can use iterator to iterate over the list. Right, so now we'll do while it dot has next, we'll get the value next. So what we have to do is we will do a comparison here. If it dot next dot equals value, that means we have to delete this. So we will just do it dot remove, right? So this will do the work, and then we just have to iterate over our list. String s and list sysout s. So let's run this. Let me clear this, otherwise it will look like the same output. So as you can see, as got deleted. Let's change the number to t. Let's see if it is actually working or not. So as you can see, t got deleted. So these were the two logics through which we can do it. So let's go back to the second question. Write a method to return the maximum value from an integer array passed as an input parameter. So let's again create a new class. Max integer array. Okay, so we have to create a method again because it says write a method. So it has to return this time. That's why it will not be having void as the return type. It will have int max value. So here we have to get the array, and that's all. We have to return max. So let's create a variable here, int max equals to air of 0. Let's create, we'll get to that part later. So maximum value from an integer array. There are two ways again. First is this simple one that we will iterate over the entire array. Int I air, not I, let's do okay, leave it I. So if I is greater than max, then make max equals 0, right? So let's try this. Max value, here we will provide air, and let's create an array of size, let's say 5. So let's duplicate these values. 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1. So let's run this. so it's not working. 0, array 0 is 0 if I is greater than max. So let's try to debug this. Let's see why is it not working. Okay, so we have our array 0 1 2 3 4. Max is initially at 0, so 0 is not greater than 0, so this will not suffice. Now I is 1. Okay, stupid me. So instead of 0 I had to put I, right? Let's run this again. So 4, it's working. Another logic is that what we can do is we can do arrays dot sort, and we'll provide array here. So our array got sorted. Now we just have to return the last index, so that will be array arr dot length -1, and let's see. So it's working. So these were the two logics here. So third question is that we have student object array list, and as input parameter we have to return to update the city attribute. Okay, only the city attribute, and if the city is Mumbai, then change it to Delhi. The method should return how many student records were updated. Okay, so we need a counter variable there. So let's first create a Pojo class, or we can create in the same class. So let's say student updation finish. So we'll create a student class here. Sorry, not here. Class student. So what we need is, let's say we need we always need ID to identify. We need name, and let's say the third parameter is what they said, city. So city will be in string, and same should be the case for name. Right, so now we need a constructor to initialize this value. So what I'll do is I'll go to source, generate constructor using field. Okay, now I'll do setter getter method, generate. So we have our Pojo class here. Right, so now what we have to do is we have to update. So what we will do is we will create a method here, public static. We have to return a counter variable, so that's why int count students. Okay, we need a list here, so let's do list of type student. Let's say list here, and let's import list. Okay, now what we have to do is we need to maintain a count variable, initialize at 0, and we will return it. So we will iterate over our student list as list. So if as dot get city dot equals what they said, Mumbai, then we have to change it to Delhi. Okay, so we need index. So list dot get, so we need index here, so we'll do it like this: int I equals to 0, I less than list dot size I plus plus, list dot get I. So what we will do is we will get the index dot. Okay, now we got the student object here, so we will do here set city to Delhi, right? Or they never said to update it, they said to return how many student records were updated, right? So we don't have to return it, we can do counter here, because if we found the occurrence of Mumbai, that means that we have to increment it, right? So it's like a cheat code here. So let's try to see if it is working or not. So let's create an object here. First let's create a list of student. List equals to new array list. Now let's create few objects. Student s1 equals to new student. Let's do one, name as A, city as, I'm going to put every city as Mumbai to expect outcome as 3. I'll change the ID here, 3 to B and C. Here I'll do 3 2, and I'll add these object to our list. So s1 s2 s3, and then we will just print out what we get in count students. So list. Alright, so let's try to run this. So as you can see, we got the expected outcome. So even if we had done this, it would have printed 3, but like we are not displaying what we have in the list, so it actually doesn't matter, right? So it was like a cheat code or something. But let's move on to another question. Write a method to check whether the strings passed as input parameters are made up of the same set of characters. So here they don't specify like how many strings are passed, right? So let's assume there are 2 strings. So it's a simple problem. Like I think you might have done it in your BTech or whatever. Let's create a class string matching. Okay, so let's create a method which will return boolean. Let's make it static. Check equality. Let's get 2 string here, s1 and s2. So what I will do is I'll just do arrays dot. So initial condition is if s1 dot length not equals to s2 dot length. That means that if the length is not equal, then how can the characters be equal, right? So return false. And then that what we have to do is we have to create arrays dot sort. So here what we will do, we will do s1 dot to char array, and this will not work. So we will do char c1 equals to s1 dot to char array. Here we will do c1, and same we will do for s2. Okay, so both the arrays are sorted. Now we need only one loop. We could have easily done it using brute force method, which is using 2 for loop, but I don't think anyone expect that solution. So what we will do is we will do int I equals to 0, I less than s1 dot length I plus plus. So it doesn't matter which length you are considering, because both of these lengths should be same, right? So now what we will do is we will check for both these two arrays. So we will do c1 I should equals to c2 I, right? That's our expectation. So if it doesn't matches, then we can just return false. Otherwise, if it doesn't happens, that means that we can return true. Simple enough. So let's try. So check equality. So here we will do, let's say, ABC, and here we do CAB. Okay, let's do like this, right? So let's run this. So it returned true. Now let's change B to D. So it returned false. So that means we are good to go. So let's move on to the next question. Write a method to remove duplicate values from array list passed as an input parameter. So let's create a new class again. So let me close all these first. Remove duplicates. We need main. So let's create a method, public static void remove duplicates. Let's get a list here. Did they say list or array? List. So let's assume it is of type integer. Otherwise we would have to make it generic. Okay, so list is here. Now we have to remove the duplicates. So one solution is that we can sort using collection.sort. Let's do list. So what will happen? So let me show you first. So let's say we have list of integer. We have to call remove duplicates list. So let's just iterate over it. So for int I list sysout I. So here I have to fill the data. So let's do one. Oops. So here are many duplicates, right? So let's place 2 in between. So as you can see there, the output should be 1 2 1 comma 2. So there should be only 2 elements here, right? So let's run this. Okay, so what happened here is I sorted them out so that I can use only one for loop, not 2, right? So what I will do is I am expecting that if I am at the index, let's say 0, so I am expecting that at the index, if there are duplicates, then at the next adjacent index I should be having the same element so that I can remove it, right? So let's do like that. So let's try. If it will work, it will work, otherwise we will see another solution. So what we need to do is we need to check if list dot get I equals list dot get I plus 1. So in that case I will be removing I plus 1. So what I will do is I will do list dot remove I plus 1, right? So let's try to print. So I got an exception at line 27 because I made a stupid mistake that I did not check if I plus 1 should be less than equals to just less than list dot size. So we got 1 1 1 2 2 1 1 1 1, there were 1 2. Okay, so we have to keep doing it, or there is one another way. Let's create a set, because set contains unique values, right? Usually memory is never a constraint, so that's why we can create a new data structure. So new asset. I know there will be a lot other solutions without using this another data structure, but I can only think about this, so let's do it this way. So what I need to do is I will iterate over list and I will keep adding. So int I list and set dot add. Oh, there is set dot at all method, so we don't have to iterate. And let's do list. Now for I think we can directly, let's try this. Oh, it's working good. I could have also used another list, and then if the list is containing this value already, then we don't have to add to it. That way also we can do it. Let me show you. So instead of set, let's say it's list again, right? So let it be list, let it be set. So I added all the list here, but we don't have to do it. What we will do is we will iterate over our list, int I list, and we will do a if condition here. So if list dot contains I, so if it doesn't contains I, then only we have to add to set. So let's see if it is working. So it's not working because I am checking in list instead of set. Voila, so it's working. Let's move on to another question quickly. Write a function, write a method to return the second largest element in an array and passed as input parameter. So I think we have gone through this. Using this max integer value, we used array.sort and then did this. Instead of -1, we will do here -2. So what it should return, second largest is 3, right? As you can see, so it returned this. So see, so this is the same logic for this. It could have also said the kth largest element. In that case we will just do -k -1. No, I think -k will do the work. Okay, so write a method to reverse an integer array passed as an input parameter. So let's try this. Reverse array. Public static void reverse. So again there are two ways. Another is not creating another not using another data structure, and with that also you can do it, but I will just use the simple logic. So I'll just get the array here, and what I will do is I will create another array. So let's say temp equals to new int, and it will be of the same size as array. So now what I will do is, instead of iterating from the 0th index, I will be iterating from the last index. So array dot length, right, -1. Here I will do I should be greater than equals to 0, and I minus minus. So I'll do temp. Here I will do another variable j equals to array I. So here j will be incremented and j will start from 0. So let's print this. Temp. Okay, we don't have to iterate, I think. Let's try this way. Sys out and then temp. Okay, we don't have array, so let's use this array again. Let's run this. Okay, so it doesn't work like this. For int I temp so it got reversed. Okay, let's move on to another question. Write a method to return the odd numbers and their frequency from an integer array passed as an input parameter. So okay, this is a big one. So first we have to create a list. So let's use this list. Here I will add few more elements. So instead of, we will do right. So okay, so we have a lot of numbers here. So what we need to do is we have to return the odd numbers and their frequency from as an input parameter. So we have to return the odd numbers and their frequency. So we have to return both, right? So let's create a map. public static, so integer will be, so both will be integers. So odd frequency. So here I will get the list integer. So first I have to create a map from list. Let's create a hash map. If map dot contains key I, so if map is already containing, if not containing, then that means that it is the first element that we are putting. So key will be I and the frequency will be 1, right? But we have to only store the odd elements. So before that, what we will do, there will be another if condition. If I divided by 2 not equals to 0. So if the number is not divisible by 2, that means that it is a odd number. So it should fuck. I'll just put the if condition here. So if map is not containing I, then do that, otherwise increase the frequency. So I, and then I have to get the current frequency. So map dot get I plus 1. Okay, so return the map. Get the map. And print the map. So only odd numbers are here, and so are the frequencies, so it's working fine. So that was all for today. Thanks for watching.